Coming up, new changes to the refund regulations from the U.S. Department of Transportation could impact airline customers.
Voting centers on SJSU campus opened up for same-day voters on Election Day. Stay tuned to see how it went.
Activists for Palestine organized another protest following the national election. See how it all went down.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Sean Robertson.
And I'm Justin Ray. On Tuesday, City Council member Omar Torres was arrested. Our reporter Madison Wilbur is live in front of City Hall with more on that story.
Thanks, Justin. On Monday, a new victim came forward with corroborating evidence that says that District 3 City Council member Omar Torres allegedly molested them as a child. On Tuesday, Torres filed a resignation letter, stepping down from office before being arrested later that day. New evidence has come forward that shows Torres allegedly took advantage of the victim over 2 decades ago. Torres allegedly began molesting this victim when they were 4, and he was 9. This continued until the victim was 13 and Torres 18. In a recorded conversation between Torres and an unnamed person, Torres confessed to raping the victim. The district attorney's office made it clear at the arraignment on Wednesday they will prosecute to their fullest extent.
And we are in the process of advocating for our community by making sure that this defendant, Omar Torres, is held strictly accountable and can never hurt anyone else ever again.
Torres' defense attorney Nelson McElmurray declined to comment with Update News. In a press conference on Wednesday, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan and the San Jose Chief of Police addressed the arrest.
You don't have to be a parent to be sickened by the charges against Omar Torres, which are some of the most serious charges imaginable.
To the San Jose community, please know that this department will always support survivors of sexual violence and abuse, and need to know that it's never too late to come forward. Doing so takes courage, but know that you will be supported.
District 7 City Council member Bien Duan, who has been vocal about removing Torres since the initial investigation into him, was also present on Wednesday.
I am totally in shock, and my heart goes out to the family, to the victim, and this is why I stood out.
Now, it's known that Torres has been under investigation for sexual misconduct with a minor, but it's important to note this arrest is due to a different case. Torres is facing 3 felony charges that could result in over 2 decades in jail if found guilty. The bail hearing is set for next Thursday, the 14th. Mayor Mahan told us the staff working for District 3 are incredibly shaken, and that no matter which path is taken to filling the vacant city council spot, we likely won't see a new city council member until the beginning of next year. Update News will continue to keep you updated. Live in San Jose, this is Madison Wilbur, Update News.
The Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters had a vote center here at San Jose State University. How convenient was it for students? Reporter Larry Larkin is live with the story.
San Jose State University students who registered to vote in Santa Clara County had a nearby place to vote on campus at the Provident Credit Union Event Center. The polls were open in the days leading up to Election Day.
Although it was open to all people registered to vote in Santa Clara County, it was a bonus for San Jose State students as they could cast their ballot without having to leave campus.
I live close to campus, so I was just able to walk to campus instead of having to walk to somewhere in downtown. It was very convenient and also just felt safer to go vote on campus.
The vote center opened on Saturday, but the huge turnout existed on the actual election day. The turnout was so large that one could see the line of people waiting to get in the event center to vote. But why have a location at SJSU?
Our team does look into the schools because schools are definitely heavily populated and provides a great accessibility for students and residents in the area.
Update News reached out to SJSU Votes but wasn't available for further comment. How is there a vote center at the event center?
Our team reaches out, in specific areas, again, with vote centers that qualify with the specific guidelines.
Michael Borja told me in an interview yesterday that the Santa Clara County Voter Registrar's Office is estimating a voter turnout of 80 to 95% in this election. Reporting live from San Jose State, Larry Larkin, Update News.
The Freedom Road Socialist Organization and other organized groups gathered together in protest off of King and Story Road last night. The protesters' message is to stop funding Israel and end the war in Gaza. Our reporter Isabella Alvarez went out to find more.
Tensions were high after last night's rally in support of Palestine. Dozens of protesters showed up with large signs saying to end funding for Israel and similar sayings at the Plaza de San Jose. People were leading chants and sharing their own speeches to the crowd.
These issues didn't start today, they didn't end today, they'll continue every single day. So people just need to keep showing up, keep turning out, and keep organizing within their own local communities to really make good change.
The rally-goers made their way down King Road towards Mexican Heritage Plaza. The 3-mile march consisted of drums, chants, and a fighting spirit.
Today is really about how both parties are complicit in genocide and complicit in deporting immigrants, undocumented people, and how we want to hold them responsible.
Many protesters talked about more than just their issues with Israel. Some showed up wearing flags from Mexico and the Philippines to be the voice for those who face injustice in those countries. It was their way to represent their disapproval of the brutal policies the Trump administration supports.
It's important that us as students that we use the voice that we have now to, advocate for the changes that we want to see in the world, especially all the injustices.
Supporters walked 3 miles on Story Road in support of Palestine. Their chants heard loud and clear through East San Jose. In San Jose, I'm Isabella Alvarez, Update News.
The U.S. Department of Transportation made changes to the refund policy, making it more convenient. Reporter Michelle Sanchez shares more on the impact flyers may have faced.
The U.S. Department of Transportation has changed refund policies to cash or credit when it comes to delayed flights, drastic changes, and more. U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg discussed how many days the refund should take.
Within 7 days, they will be required to provide an automatic refund to the credit card that you use to book it without you having to call or wait on hold.
Update News reached out to airlines, but they declined to comment. Some frequent flyers have come into trouble when it came to delayed baggage. Kelly Galpin being one of those affected when flying to Boston.
They lost our luggage. We survived, except my husband had his hearing aid batteries on that luggage.
Some frequent flyers believe that the new refund will be a faster process.
It makes it quicker because when flights are delayed or they want to credit you somehow, it usually is last minute.
With the new refund policy into place, some flyers mention that they haven't had a negative experience.
I don't actually know how I feel about it. Usually because we fly Southwest here, and they're very, very good at giving you credit.
With this new policy, people will have to wait and see if there will be a smoother and better travel experience. In San Jose, Michelle Sanchez, Update News.
When we come back.
Up next, a new barber is in town. Stay tuned to see how this shop runs the fades.
Organizations on campus came out to celebrate veterans, automobile style. Check out what went down.
It looks like you might need your umbrella this Monday. Tune in for the weather forecast with me to find out if you do need it.
Prices for almost everything seem to be climbing, but one San Jose barbershop is turning the traditional business model on its head. Headspace is about community support and inclusivity. Let's go to reporter Mohammed Najimi for a closer look at what the shop brings to San Jose.
I'm here at Headspace, a barbershop with a twist, pricing that the customer can afford. It's an interesting approach that challenges the typical business model and raises questions about accessibility in grooming.
Located on 4th Street, Headspace wants to bring back meaningful conversations and haircuts that the customer will value.
It really puts you in the right headspace, not just figuratively, but also literally, so what it does for us is it's been such a beautiful staple in our area.
Gooch brings his family to Headspace every couple of weeks there for a haircut. He also gives the shop advertising whenever possible.
I gotta do it for myself.
stand on business. But now it's like, it's for the people. I'm home. God brought me home for a reason.
Conversations while cutting has worked out for Alonzo Granger, the owner of Headspace, when engaging with those who attempt to take advantage of the pricing.
It's our job to not even figure that out, but like, you know what I'm saying, to kind of understand what people have going on as a barber. So through the conversation of just cutting people, they eventually express to you why they pay you what they can.
Gooch believes this pricing method brings back the aspect of community that a barbershop entails. Granger said that this pricing does help out the shop financially, however, it's a slow process. He also believes that since there is no fixed price, it allows for people to be more honest with themselves about how much the haircut is worth. In San Jose, Mohammed Najimi, Update News.
The Veteran Resource Center, as well as the Veterans Student Organizations, held a car show in San Jose's state campus, all to honor and recognize our nation's veterans for this weekend's upcoming Veterans Day. Reporter Tyler Flipson has the story.
I'm here in the 7th Street Plaza right in the heart of campus. We can see behind me is nothing but beautiful cars and great times. But everyone's gathered here for a greater reason today, all in the name of our nation's veterans and their service. SJSU's Veterans Resource Center and Veterans Student Organization came together to host the 10th annual Veterans Day Car Show, partnering up with the Spartan Automotive Enthusiast Club.
We have over 1,000 students on campus that are either veteran or veteran connected, and that's not including our faculty and staff. And so because there's so much history, so much here, it felt right to really celebrate us and celebrate to this day.
Many veterans say that the transition to civilian life from deployed life can be a challenge. Marine Corps veteran Isaiah Henderson shares the best ways to tackle it.
Reach out and ask for help, because a lot of veterans are very prideful and they lose that sense of purpose. So helping them find that purpose, as well as reaching out and finding other people who are going through the same thing, is definitely very important, and that's what helped me out.
This event brings a positive light to these veterans' challenges, all while honoring them and hanging around some sweet rides.
I think it's a really cool event because I know a lot of the veterans, police officers, people who worked in the armed forces, that they're also a fan of cars, so it's really nice to give back to them.
With this event, the hopes are it enlightens our community on our veterans, as well as help our veterans cruise back to a promising future in civilian life. In San Jose, Tyler Flipson, Update News.
The mental health crisis is prevalent, as nearly 60 million U.S. adults are diagnosed with a mental illness. Is this driving college students to turn to AI for help? Reporter Alexis Marquez has some answers.
Jackie Limon is one student who has turned to AI to help her think things through.
It's 2 a.m., you're too stressed, like you have a lot going on in your plate, you just need a vent to someone or something. So yeah, it's definitely like a good tool to at least calm you down.
Limon says she would not turn to AI in a crisis, but there are many factors that make it appealing, like accessibility, convenience, no judgment, and affordability. Some people disagree.
I'm not going to go to AI when I'm like, oh, I'm having constant anxiety, because I feel like it's just going to tell me what I want to hear and not what I need to hear.
Think about it in terms of your classwork. Sometimes ChatGPT tells you things that are wrong, right? It just flat out makes things up.
Carr likes the idea of finding a way to combat the mental health crisis, but mentions AI should not be used as a main source of therapy. She says there are many disadvantages with AI, such as privacy concerns, like who your information is being sold to, the chat box dropping in a time of need, a lack of connection since bots do not have emotions, and not all programmers making these sites are clinically trained. From election results to seasonal depression, whatever the case may be, make sure you're taking care of your mental health. In San Jose, I'm Alexis Marquez, Update News.
San Jose has a large population of unhoused families and Mexican heritage. One particular family stands out as they use their encampment to honor their deceased service dog for Dia de los Muertos.
Miguel Maruyama and his son Alejandro live in an encampment they built off of Interstate 280 South. The encampment stands out because of the large memorial dedicated to the family's deceased service dog, Nacho. The memorial is an ofrenda they built to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, a Mexican holiday that honors deceased loved ones, family, and pets. Nacho was Alejandro's service dog. Alejandro suffers from epilepsy and has autism. Miguel and his son ended up unhoused after their previous landlord and boss evicted and fired them. They claimed that their service dog, Nacho, was murdered and the case was unfairly thrown out.
I did it to try and draw people's attention.
so that people know about the corruption happening here in San Jose. The family has been at this location for several weeks, and now they're facing an abatement from Caltrans. The first abatement they faced was supposed to be before Dia de los Muertos, but Caltrans allowed an extension until after the holiday. It feels very awful that from all sides they aim at us, that nobody can help us. So yeah, it does feel awful. Caltrans told Update News they postponed the date because they recognize the significance of the holiday. Caltrans has put up another notice that would require them to leave by Friday. Some community members believe that Caltrans should let them stay in their encampment until they find housing.
So they've made this area beautiful, the community supports it, and, why not give them the benefit of a few more weeks?
Miguel and Alejandro say they hope to find housing soon and to keep a community garden up as a memorial for Not Till After. With a new notice to vacate, we will see what Caltrans' response will be to their pleas. In San Jose, I'm Sophie Cipriano, Update News.
Miguel told Update News they have had trouble finding shelter because they can be overstimulating for Alejandro. And with the other pets they have, many shelters cannot accommodate them. Their search for housing continues, and Update News will keep you updated. It's been getting a little cold lately.
I even heard that there's chance of rain. Angela Nguyen has more.
My name's Angela Nguyen, and I have your 7-day weather forecast. It looks like there will be windy at times with gusts 40 miles and under. Dry weather continues, storms mostly up north, with changes ahead meaning less wind. Wind has been in the headlines this week, and thankfully we should see a little bit less wind as we approach the weekend for some possible rains for areas north of San Francisco as we move into early next week. Drive safe on those roads. Peak winds where offshore winds are concerned should decrease through Thursday into Friday. Onshore wind will pick up again as rain chances approach over the weekend, although best rain chances likely stay in the north of the Bay Area, so pack that umbrella. Best odds for seeing some rain will arrive by Monday next week, so your weekend looks pretty clear. For Santa Cruz, Thursday will look nice and bright at 66 with a low of 48. Friday will be 67 with 47. And for Oakland, we'll have Friday pretty sunny as well at 72 to 48 and Sunday at 67 to 50. For San Francisco, Friday will look about 67 to 47 and Sunday will look a little cloudy with 65 to 49. For San Jose, Saturday looks 72 with the lowest of 51 and Sunday is 72 and 53. And back to the desk.
We'll have more in just a moment.
Coming up next, this adoption center is taking a new direction to get their animals adopted.
Port Chicago, a historic site in Contra Costa County, was home to a great tragedy during World War II. Stay tuned.
On Saturday morning, over 24 volunteers helped to pick up litter here at Columbus Park. Find out if they were able to help the unhoused residents more, coming up.
San Jose Animal Care Center has recently been overcrowded with surrendered animals. The center has found a new approach to help animals get adopted. Reporter Angela Nguyen went to find out more.
San Jose Animal Care Center held their first small dog event on November 3rd. They want to give the community the opportunity to interact with the animals that need a home and to be fostered. This is Colleen Nguyen. Her family has been fostering a dog for over 2 months.
I think they should hold more events because it raises awareness on how commonly animals can be mistreated and some owners just aren't right for their pets.
Nguyen believes that fostering dogs helps give them temporary homes and open up more space in animal shelters. According to the American Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, 7.6 million unwanted pets enter the United States shelters annually. Of that population, about 31% are dogs and about 41% are of cats. Nicole Hong, a pet adopter, feels strongly about animal welfare.
Sad to hear the stories from the people who work there saying that not every animal gets adopted, especially with age.
Hong encourages others to foster animals and donate to centers in need.
think sometimes people have this perception that the shelter is a sad and a scary place.
ICARD wants the community to know that the shelter is an inviting home for strays and animals in need.
San Jose Animal Care Center's goal is to find animals like these their forever home. To learn more, visit the center on Monterey Highway in San Jose. Angela Nguyen, Update News.
Port Chicago in Contra Costa County. Because African Americans were only allowed to serve menial jobs in the Navy, all of those loading ammunition were black. On July 17, 1944, the ammunition ignited. The event accounts for 15% of all African American deaths in World War II. But the story does not end there.
All the ammunition in the World War II Pacific Theater came through Port Chicago. When the ammunition exploded, there were two ships, one completely loaded and one empty. Between the two were rail cars containing more ordnance and bombs.
The disaster at the Port Chicago Naval Magazine did not need to happen. 320 men should not have died. 390 should not have been injured. The town of Port Chicago should not have been severely damaged.
4 of the enlisted black men ran towards the flames in an attempt to save their friends. 2 weeks later, they were ordered back to the docks with no official explanation. The 258 men refused to continue loading ammunition. 50 of the men were tried for mutiny. They would come to be known as the Port Chicago 50. The defense team wished to present the working conditions of the base as evidence, but the court ruled it was irrelevant.
This trial was a carefully curated and constructed proceeding that had only one possible outcome, and that was the conviction of the Port Chicago 50.
Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP used the event to further their civil rights campaign.
Had the Navy not overreached and charged and convicted the 50 of mutiny, that campaign never would have happened.
Park rangers at the Port Chicago Naval Magazine National Memorial wish to teach the importance of remembering the event.
It is a story of America, one where we can clearly and plainly see the dangers of segregation and discrimination.
When you mess up, you don't just hide it. You don't sweep it under the rug. You don't cover it up. You confront it, you take responsibility, and then you do what needs to be done.
The nonprofit Port Chicago Alliance is working with the Navy to identify descendants of the men to deliver the proper restitution.
Together we can ensure that the exoneration has a meaningful and lasting impact on the lives of Port Chicago sailors, descendants.
If you would like to visit related landmarks or find more information, you can visit mps.gov and search the Port Chicago Naval Magazine. San
Jose has numerous homeless encampments that need help with picking up trash. Our reporter Alina Ta has more on how volunteers at Columbus Park tried to make the area nicer for the residents.
Here at Columbus Park, many unhoused residents live next to litter because they don't have access to dumpsters to toss their own trash. On Saturday morning, 24 volunteers came out to help pick up some of that litter. These volunteers are from the Trash Punks, a nonprofit that aims to help pick up litter one piece at a time. Right now, they are helping to tidy up Francis Klein's living space.
When I woke up this morning, there was a bunch of people outside. Well, not like outside of my spot, but there's cars pulling up and those green trash bins were there.
The volunteer group helps to pick up litter at different parks and creeks in the South Bay every Saturday. Organizers say cleaning these areas helps both unhoused community members and the local ecosystem.
We're volunteers. We're not here to take your personal belongings. That's not what we do. What we care about is the environment. And if we don't take care of the environment, no one's going to have a place to live at all.
To ensure that volunteers don't accidentally toss any personal items, organizers were there to ask unhoused residents what to throw away.
We always ask before we start cleaning up trash around their encampment or around their home. What we perceive as trash could be somebody's personal belongings.
Not all the unhoused residents felt comfortable having the volunteers come to the park. One resident wants to see the community support the unhoused residents in a different way.
None of these people that come here like these outreaches and volunteers and so on and so forth, they never actually come here and ask what people need and then actually fulfill any of those things that they easily can do.
Here at Columbus Park, you can see where the volunteers help to pick up trash. Volunteers were, however, instructed not to enter this side of the park. Organizers say they plan to bring volunteers back to help pick up more trash in the near future. In San Jose, Alina Ta, Update News.
Our football team has been looking good lately.
Always. To talk to us more about SJSU Sports, we have Tyler Flipson live at the big board.
Thank you, guys, and welcome to your Update News Sports Wrap. Let's dive into it. Matter of fact, let's kick off right into it. We're going to dive into men's soccer here. They did clinch a postseason berth after a draw against UT Rio Grande Valley. They enter the WAC tournament as the number 5 seed, taking on a tough number 4 seed on the road at Utah Valley. They are in a win or go home position. Move on to women's basketball. As you can see here, they were on the road at Xavier, where they opened up their season with a big win, a dominant win at that, 55-36. This is the Spartans' first season opening win and season opening road win. Their first one since 2020 against Cal. Speaking of Cal, they got a Bay Area battle this Saturday, a home opener against Berkeley, where they look to run it back just like last year. Move on to men's water polo. They're ranked number 12th in the nation. Not to mention they are our only nationally ranked team on campus so far across all sports. They're coming off a tough loss against the number 8 UC Irvine, 11-9, but they're heading on down to Malibu to take on number 9 Pepperdine here this Saturday, with big implications as the regular season comes to an end and we look into the postseason. Then we move on to Tyler's marquee matchup. This is your game of the week. This is the matchup you don't want to miss. That one being your football team. We move on over with the 6th in the conference. They're 3-2 in the Mountain West. They fell to a tough Fresno State team, 33-10 last week. But here's what they did well. This is against Wyoming a couple weeks ago here. What they did exceptionally well was their defense. Their defense suffocated the opposing offense, as you see, as they get to the quarterback here, taking him down. They're going against an Oregon State team who's 6th in the nation. They're the 6th best rush offense, averaging 267 rush yards a game. And again, getting to the quarterback, and you're going to see on the next play here, not only if they could stop the run exceptionally well like they did against Wyoming, if they could stop the pass, the attack through the air. As you see the quarterback's dropping back to pass here. He's looking for options way down the field, taking a shot, an absolute bomb. But watch this right here, a miraculous interception here. I mean, if they're able to do that against Oregon State, that will be the difference maker. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been your Update News Sports Wrap. I'll catch you next week. Now back to the desk.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
From all of us here, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.